All right, peace, love, and light, everybody. My name is Mang Reverie, like Jumanji without the Jew. I'm a radio personality here in Denver, Colorado on KS 107.5. I host a podcast called the Maha Sessions, owner of Cloud 7 Studios that we're here in today. I wear a lot of hats, a lot of hats.
Of course.
I've always dabbled in music, so it's a situation for me where it just kind of seemed natural. I had a regular job, a regular life. It didn't make me happy. I wasn't excited with it. So at some point in time, I just realized that I wanted to do something that was more my flavor.
What's your flavor?
You said what?
How would you describe your flavor? What's your flavor?
Oh my God, y'all gonna put me on the spot. The hip hop historian. I think that's the best way to describe me. Like, music is my entire life. I'm the person that gets excited off of hearing samples just so I could guess what song came before that, came before that, came before that. So naturally for me, it was a situation where when I got tired of doing all the grown-up stuff and got back to dreaming, I thought about what my dream was originally, and it always had something to do with music. I never wanted to really be an artist or anything crazy like that, but I wanted to stick near to the music. So radio kind of was my niche, and that's where I'm at currently.
Where are you in relation to your dreams? How's this dream been going for you?
It still feels like a damn dream. It still feels like a dream. Honestly, you know, for me, I'm a Gemini, so all of my ideas start just as that, some crazy ass ideas, some concoction in my head. And I don't follow through with all of them, but the ones that I follow through with actually seem to be on par. So I got asked by a coworker of mine one time, if there was anything on earth that you could do, you know, money not being a factor, what is it exactly that you would do? And I was like, boy, what are you talking about, man? I got 3 kids. I've been married for X, Y, Z years. I don't even want to begin to imagine no shit like that because it's going to piss me off because I'm not doing that, you know, real bitter like. And he said, you didn't answer the damn question, you know? Answer the question. If there was anything on this earth that you could do, money not being a factor, what would it be? And I didn't even have to think about it. Just the first thing that came off my head, it was something real sarcastic, of course. And I believe I said I would listen to music and talk shit all day on the radio. I said, but since ain't nobody gonna pay me to do that, I got something to be sitting here at this desk and keeping it moving, which is what I did, you know? So we're here probably about 6 years after that conversation, and all of that part of my dream has come true, you know? With a lot of work, ups and downs, and now we're in a whole new part of my dream. So it's like the dream keeps expanding, and I'm pretty grateful. It's a good feeling. All right. Well, right now, like physically, where we at?
All about just describe the dream.
We are somewhere in the middle of my current reverie. So that's my DJ name, Mang Reverie. Reverie means a daydream, like a pleasant daydream. And for me, a lot of things that I manifest and I do kind of feel like that. It's just like visions of things. So right now we're sitting in a studio that I concocted in my head about 7 months ago. I wanted to do a podcast, but I didn't want to do it in anybody else's space. I just knew when I pictured this in my head that it had to be done a certain way or I wasn't going to touch it, you know. Not so much that I wouldn't touch it, I just would lose interest quickly because of the type of person I am. I know that I have to keep myself busy and entertained, you know, with any project. That's why radio is exciting. It's something different every single day. It's something new, something different. With this situation, we had been furloughed off the radio, so I had some time to myself. I don't get a lot of time to myself. I took those months and I enjoyed some time with my kids, with my family. The whole world was freaking out and I was traveling everywhere just so I could see the earth quiet, you know? And then I had a little mishap with my foot and it kind of grounded me. and kept me in Denver. And I was like, man, you can't finish the year off and not do nothing. You know you're not going back on air for a while because of the pandemic, so what do, you know? And the podcast had always been in the back of my head, but it's just a lot of damn work. And I was like, I don't feel like doing all that work. You got to do weekly guests and, you know, your production team, equipment, your location. It's just a lot. It's a lot to take in. And it was probably the last thing on my mind, even though all my peers and friends were like, you will be really good at that. So when I broke my foot back in August, it was like a weird circumstance of the universe. Like, and I don't even think anybody knows my foot was broke while all this was going on. I'd been quite quiet because I just knew that this was a situation that I was gonna have to probably do by myself, you know? I had pitched the idea to a couple of friends and some people were supportive, some people thought it was pipe dreams. I like pipe dreams because I'm the one to prove that, you know? I always kind of top myself, so I found this spot. We're in Cloud 7. Cloud 7 is my rendition of my creative space, studio that I wanted to be able to showcase the city of Denver during this podcast. I guess we'll talk more about the podcast in a few. I don't want to get ahead of his questions. Cloud 7 means to be high, literally. So I know Cloud 9, everybody's Cloud 9, Cloud 7 is literally to be high on marijuana. So 7 is my lucky number. 7's always been my lucky number, so that's been riding with me for a long time. And Cloud 7, I knew it was uplifted. It was a state of euphoria. I don't want to say it was just high off marijuana. We use it as an acronym for that, but it really means like a state of euphoria, you know, just heaven there. So Cloud 7, we're not on the 7th floor, but it's cool, we close enough. But this is my little piece of my heaven that I created, you know? Okay, so my podcast is about marijuana, cannabis. The idea was, oh shit, I done dropped that. The podcast I launched is about cannabis. So it's an urban showcase because I feel like this industry doesn't have any media outlet that is, I'm not saying there's not podcasts about marijuana. There's definitely podcasts, but they're all pretty specialized to specific things, you know. I hate the stigma behind cannabis. I'm a heavy smoker. I've been a smoker since I was real young, you know, probably about 14 years old. So it's been my life. And when the idea of the podcast came to, naturally, you know, when I started thinking about subjects, because when you build something like that, you got to think about, okay, well, if I'm a sports person, I'm going to talk about sports. If I'm a fashion person, I'm going to talk about fashion. If I like cars, my podcast is going to be of cars. Mine is either music or marijuana. Neither a bad option. You know, I'm not mad at either option. I just knew that where I live at currently right now in Denver, this is not a city where I felt like I could musically sustain a podcast every single week consistently for months and months and months and months on end. I kind of wanted to challenge myself and move away from the music element part a little bit. Believe me, it's still included in the whole part because music is my life, you know, but the podcast is about cannabis and the urban cannabis culture and everything from medical to products to the lifestyle, you know. Right now I'm smoking on a Cannagar that Wolfpack created and they're going for a Guinness Book World Record right now. Like, that shit is dope to me. They're one of my sponsors. Salute to Wolfpack. Certified Magic, I know y'all see them kind of floating around. I just like to be able to talk about their dreams. This is their dreams, you know? So now I get to take my God-given talent and post up and listen to Wolfpack tell me, you know, it took me 15 years to be able to go into the cannabis industry as a dispensary, you know, what that process looked like to sit and be able to, tell their story, because I love stories, you know, I'm from Brooklyn, from New York, we like to document and just listen to a good tale. So it's fun for me because I learn a lot, but I think it's dope for them because on top of them teaching everybody else, they get to listen to and think back on the dream. I think a lot of us, we hit these goals in life and forget what the hell it was like for the goal before and before and before. And we got to remember things like that because it really builds exactly who we are, you know? Yeah, the character.
Right.
Overall, I'm the person that probably cares way more than I should. Even though I'll say I don't, but 9 times out of 10, I'm so attention to detail driven, like I'm a perfectionist. Just like this project. I could have took this podcast and rented somebody's studio. A lot of people offered it, you know? I could have went and made their space more spectacular and posted up, but I'm not like that. I'm the type of person that likes to challenge myself. So sometimes I bite a lot more off than what I feel like I could chew, but somehow we seem to still keep it moving, you know? I'm feisty. There's the word that a lot of people tell you. A lot of people are intimidated by me. I, for the life of me, do not fucking understand why. I stand at about 5'2", 120-something pounds soaking wet. But I don't let nobody punk me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think our whole coast is just real big on holding our ground and just letting you know who, yeah, exactly, the culture, letting you know who we are. So, I guess that's me. You good.
Talk a little bit about your culture then,
My ethnicity? Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a fun one. Yo, there was a military commercial I used to always laugh at because I'm an Army brat, so I've lived all over the damn world. And there's a commercial that, you know, a lot of the military will relate to because it was something like, tell me where you're from. And then I got to be like, tell you where I'm from or where I was born at. Or tell you where I was born at or where I last lived at. Or tell you where I lived at or where I'm going. So I'm Panamanian by birth. Originally, I was born in Panama City, Panama. My mother being of Panamanian and Sicilian descendants. And my real father being of Panamanian and Chinese background. I was adopted by my stepfather when I was a very, very little baby, and he's a soldier. So being with him took me around the entire fucking world, and I wouldn't have had that any other way. I think a lot of people find disappointment or feel like because certain things didn't pan out, you know, a certain way. And I feel like, nah, that's exactly how my life was supposed to go. I was supposed to be placed in these certain predicaments to where I would be in other countries with people that I don't know or I haven't seen, in just situations where I constantly had to kind of, I wouldn't say reinvent myself, but it was just a lot of moving. You're always going to have obstacles. I don't give a damn if you're not doing your dream. If you're doing a job that you hate, you're going to have obstacles taking your ass to the damn job. So you might as well have obstacles that go towards something that you enjoy. Exactly. I started over. I had the idea of going into the radio when I was 33 years old. That's late for a lot of people. A lot of people do not believe me when I say that. A lot of people don't even believe that that was even possible just because of the progression, you know. Shit, I'm not even 40 yet. So between the age of 33, I'm not even 39 yet. We're gonna take it down there, you know. I was able to, man, I'm proud of my damn age. I wear my stripes proudly. 33, I started over when I was 33. Okay. I decided radio.
That's how I am right now. So,
so then you right there. Yeah. You right on time. Right. But a lot of people get to the age of 33 and feel like, oh my God, I didn't do it. And I never felt like that because I had a career. Like I said, it was in a situation where I was just lost. I just knew I didn't like what the hell I was doing, you know? And even when I took those careers, there weren't careers that I wanted to do. It was just shit that paid good money, you know? Unfortunately, we live in cultures that they make you kill your fucking dreams, you know? They make you kill your dreams. They tell you if you haven't accomplished, unless you got some crazy said outrage, come on, you gotta be a little bit realistic too, but, you know, and I still ain't gonna say it's impossible even then. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on what it is really, but everybody thought I was crazy when I said this shit. They was like, yo, you make good money as a federal employee. I was like, I hate that job. Fucking hate it. I hated showing up. I used to get up and go to work and leave mad and get there mad and be mad throughout the whole damn day and leave mad and go home and be more mad and just, I was fucking mad. And I smoked a lot to kind of bring me down off of that, but even then, that wasn't letting me cope. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this ain't working no more. You know, so at 33, I was still stuck in that mentality like, it's too fucking late. It's too late. I can't do this shit now. I had 3 kids. My kids, they were small at the time. I was overseas where I speak German, but not fluent enough to just go be on the radio, you know. So I had to be creative. This is where your wits kick in, you know. I've always been pretty witty, so I decided to intern with the military station, and I stayed there with them for almost 2 years, and I was just there to learn. No school, no paperwork, I didn't get paid, nothing. I literally showed up every single day for 2 years for free, just to watch what they do, and just to see, so they could teach me, just to learn the terminology, just to be in a situation where I felt like it was even possible. And it was possible because they let me speak, you know, they literally trained me. I got to be an intern, shout out to my people at AFN, the Armed Forces Network, the military radio allowed me that taste. So then I was hungry, you know what I'm saying? Then it became a hunger. So that's kind of where
this all boils down to. And what's going on with you right now.
where you met me comes into the story in a little bit.
Yeah.
But we gonna continue on. I don't want to take over the whole damn
No, it's good. It's you.
I moved back to the States and I took a job on a local radio station. I say that's my first official job. I still wasn't getting paid for a cool year, but I had a slot and it was a midday slot, and I got to create this whole show and this theme and this situation. And at that point I knew like, yo, I rock with this. I got to figure this out. But dreams can't be stagnant. You know, you can't get to a point where you accomplish a little piece of it and then you stop there unless you're satisfied with that, by all means. I knew, I lived in the Springs actually when I moved back to the States. I moved to Colorado Springs here in Colorado, and that's like a mid-sized city, and I knew that wasn't it neither, you know? So I wanted to come up to Denver. I actually sat at a interview with my current program director at KS 107.5, and he very nicely told me, I don't think you're ready yet. Still kind of got that college feel. At least he was nice. He didn't break my damn heart. But it made me determined, you know? I was determined to come back and sit at that office with him as an employee, you know? So I enrolled in school, which is kind of where I met you in this chapter. I enrolled at the media school here, and I commuted 3 hours every single day round trip to go to school. My kids we were still living down in the Springs, and they were in school down there, so I would get up, drive them to school, half an hour, drive an hour and a half up here, go to class all day, leave here, drive back to the Springs to pick up my kids, drive them back to the house, you know, take care of all that business. Sometimes there were things I had to come back to Denver for, go back down there, so I literally spent a whole year really driving, you know. I mean, there was days I would just cry because I was like, I'm so fucking tired. I do not want to do this drive anymore. Like, let it be worth it, you know? And I'll never forget, I used to come up, 25, right? Yeah, 25. And when I would hit the 6th Ave, you know, the exit to go kind of towards the school, you could see the city on the right-hand side. And every single day when I saw that skyline, I said, I'm going to talk to that city every day. Every single day. I'm going to talk to that city. I'm going to talk to that city. People thought I was probably crazy. I'm going to talk to that damn city. I'm going to be on the radio on this bitch. I'm going to talk to this city. For a year, I did that. I graduated, and I was interning at some point, and there was a situation where I ended up fired. I've been fired off the radio a couple of times. If you're in radio and you have not been fired off the radio, you're not doing something right. It's kind of like a fucking rite of passage, and I don't even think I know anybody that's not been fired off the radio. So don't even get discouraged, that's a whole other story. But I got fired off the station that I had got hired on after I'd graduated from the school. I wasn't a DJ on there, I was just doing like promo or some shit. And I got a call from my program director, and he said, I heard you've been doing some dope things, you know? Bring an air check by and let's have this conversation again. And sure as shit, 2 weeks from me getting fired, he hired me as an actual DJ, you know? So I'm a radio personality. I've been with the station almost 3 years now. We found ourselves currently furloughed because of this crazy pandemic situation, but I checked that off on my dream. Check, you know? I spent 3 years on the radio with KS. I hope to go back in the spring, you know, once this shit clears up. But it kind of rewinds us back to the beginning of the story, which was, where am I at and what am I doing? And I'm sitting in my studio now, you know? 3 years, you know, a year ago, you would have told me, she gonna have a studio next year. She gonna be shooting a podcast and flying all over and doing this and that. I would have told you was a liar. I'm like, studio for what? I don't need no damn studio. What the hell I need that for, you know? I was complacent. I was satisfied with what I had. The universe kind of played all of our cards, and I had to very quickly adjust, you know? It was either go back and do a 9 to 5, go back to my federal job. Yeah, it would have been good money, but it would have been that misery again. I would work for free and prefer, you know, not to be miserable. But it kind of threw us into this situation to where I launched a podcast. So we're getting ready to drop our first episode here within the next probably week or two. We've been shooting since December, just packing up content, just getting the episodes and the B-roll and the teasing and everything put together. Some dope people have come into this project. I've been very blessed. And you currently find yourself in my podcast studio. The podcast is the Mile High Sessions. You can find that joint on all social media. We haven't launched the actual podcast part of it. Again, we're building the content, but you'll see that across everything: Spotify, iHeartMedia, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, all of that shit. The Mile High Sessions, at the Mile High Sessions. And I'm Mang Reverie, MANGYEE_REVERIE, with the little at before it, on IG and on everything else. You said it's about to die.